Next, we have the Minority Student Achievement Network, MSAN. We have some students here who are going to present, and I turn it over to Dr. Sherman.
Thank you. I'm just excited this could be having our students come forward and talking with you tonight. I'm going to show you a video in a minute that's used as part of our National Board of Directors of a Minority Student Achievement Network. But you might remember as a board, 4 years ago, October 2009, you approved, when you go through, it's actually 2008, you approved the first set of priorities for the school district, the first set of goals, and included in that set of goals was joining here for the first time, actually rejoining the spirit of MSAN. And so here we sit a couple of years later welcoming back students who attended the national conference. And I heard the reputation of our students in the most extremely positive way, as far away as Chicago. We had a board of directors meeting Monday and Tuesday, and the other superintendents and the executive director of MSAN came and said, "Wow, your kids are really something." And I said, "Well, we know that in Alexandria." But I want to give you a little bit about MSAN. We struggled as a board of directors for a couple of years now about the name itself. And in fact, I think, as I said to you last year, have tried to stay away from calling it Minority Student Achievement Network and trying to take the word minority out of there and simply referring to it as MSAN. Because as we talk, I've said many times to our students, they're not minority to anybody at any time for anything. And that word minority is carrying more and more of a pejorative with it. So we are working as an organization to try to reshape and refocus even the title of our group. I will let you know that at the meeting on Monday, we welcomed East Lansing as our 23rd school district. That's where Michigan State is, and so that represents for us another urban-suburban center struggling with the same issues that we are here in Alexandria, and those districts across the country are struggling, whether it's Madison or Ann Arbor or Alexandria or Arlington, also as a member of this organization. And what we talked about as the next generation of our work, and I think you'll hear it tonight from our students, is to give our students greater voice at a national level in terms of policies. One of the school districts, Farmington, Michigan, spoke about student voice in their school district. And I'm not sure you had a chance to talk about this at your national conference, but the students in Farmington 4 years ago began working with a professor at the University of Michigan. And based upon their work, they created the policy that the local school board in Farmington adopted. Farmington's a suburb of Detroit. And they, as a school board, then encouraged the students to take that policy forward to the state school board. And so now the state of Michigan, because of the work of MSAN students, has a policy requiring all students in Michigan to have diversity courses, to have training in diversity. And in fact, the Farmington Board of Education has now required a course in diversity and cultural competency in social justice as their requirement for graduation. And so we have talked as a board of directors and picking up the theme of student voice for all of the school divisions and focus a little bit towards 2014, which is the 60th anniversary of Brown versus Topeka. And we wish as an organization to talk more about social justice in America because few other organizations are doing that. So with your permission as a school board and the next school board's permission, we will be taking our national organization more in that direction of social justice and student voice. I have two people to thank tonight, actually three. We'll get to an introduction in a second. But first, Dr. Walsh has been, in many cases, as I shared with you, the person who goes out and represents me and keeps as a glue in moving forward. And over the past couple of years, Dr. Walsh has been instrumental in keeping MSAN running through a number of different changes in leadership within the organization. So I wanted to thank her. And when we appointed Mr. Francis Chase to the position of Cultural Competency Coordinator, he has picked up this charge and worked really hard with our students and with all of us in understanding better the issues of cultural competency. So the final thing I'd share with you is that there is a report that just came out of UCLA as part of our national MSAN conference. I don't have copies for all of you, but it is an issue called Integrating Suburban Schools. And this publication called Integrating Suburban Schools talks about inner ring suburbs, not exurban, but districts such as Arlington and Alexandria, Farmington, those that surround metropolitan areas and yet deal as suburbs, but yet in an urban way. The fascinating part of this, when you look at Brown versus Topeka and look at the changes that have occurred over the years, in that just as we as a community are seeing resegregation across our city, so are cities across America. And UCLA, the University of Wisconsin, which is our lead university, and MSAN, and Ron Ferguson, who helped found us from Harvard University, are asking boards and asking leaders across this country to recommit to this issue of diversity, cultural competency, social justice, understanding one another, and bettering who we are as a people. And I think there is no better voice that we could possibly have than those of our students. So let me show you a video that is on the MSAN website about the conference that they attended a couple of weeks ago in sunny Arizona.
Here we go.
Well, here we are in Phoenix, Arizona at the 13th Annual MSAN Student Conference, hosted by Paradise Valley Unified School District. We are so excited to be here in Phoenix. We're having a terrific conference. The students are here from 19 different districts across, I think it's 6 or 7 states. So it's a pretty amazing group of young leaders, MSAN scholars, and the educators who support them.
The first night we were here, it was pretty exciting. Just the way that people introduced themselves, because we had an introduction of schools where each district went to the front of the room and either through song, through words, through rap, we each were able to introduce ourselves, and you could really see the diversity we had just by the way that people spoke, just by the way that people held themselves up and that they walked.
It was really nice meeting new people from other parts of the country because I got to see their views on everything, and it was really fun interacting with them and becoming and making a whole bunch of new friends, and it was just really fun.
Yesterday we went to see Arizona State University and Grand Canyon University, and it was very interesting. They told us a lot about financial aid and a lot of different things about applying into college, and they told us about different steps that you need to fill out the FAFSA, and I never knew it stood for free application for financial student aid. I just never knew that. And they told us about different scholarships and grants and how to get free money.
This conference with all the speakers here, they had a numerous amount of inspiration for us, and I think that will really help us better our voices.
Hearing their stories, I know that they have different struggles and their opinions. It changes my overall opinion because I'm very biased in my opinion based on what I'm living in. So hearing their things, I take different views on different aspects of certain situations, so now I can look at it differently and approach problems differently. So that's just better.
It's really interesting because it really showed me how I'm not alone. I'm part of a whole bunch of other people who are suffering through the same problems I am. We're going through the same struggle, and we get to learn from each other.
There's really just little tiny problems that we all face. Some don't have the support group that others have, and a lot of the mentoring speakers and the lunch panel, all of them had a good support system at home, but some of these students don't have that, and it's time to look at our community or look at our school or maybe even this organization and be those leaders in that support system for them. And that's what is amazing and empowering, because we can be that support system for other students when they don't have it, and we can take what we have at home and our values and show them that they can do it, and we're empowering our own students, not just others and ourselves.
Chase?
Good evening. Actually, Dr. Sherman did probably most of my presentation as far as cultural competency and how I became involved in MSAN, but I'll just reiterate some things he said. I was contacted about 2 years ago to come work with MSAN by Terry Barnett, and she wanted me just to sit in on a rap session that they had. And the first thing I noticed was their voice, the power of their voice. So it wasn't the fact that they didn't have a voice, it was that we weren't listening. They have a lot to say, we just didn't know how to listen. So part of my job as cultural competency is to show them and teach them how to use their voice effectively, but more importantly, on how to listen. Speaking is an action, listening is a skill. So we have to learn how to listen. And they're going to do some things today, and I do in my workshop, where I show you how you're not listening to what I'm saying, because it is a skill. And once you learn that skill, you'll be surprised at what you miss. And today you're going to hear them, just their passion, and what they're going to say. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time with intros on what I do, but I'm going to be going through the city doing what I do as far as cultural competency, because like Dr. Sherman said, it's a must. We have to do this or we're going to lose them. And they have a lot to say. They want to say it. We have to learn how to listen. So without further ado, I'm going to have Ms. Scott come and do some intros.
Good evening. I am actually the new sponsor to this group. I inherited them this year. This is my first year from Ms. Terry Barnett. So they were already together. I can't take credit for that. But we have two new members, Terrence Curry and Zoe Brazard, who are new to us. So they attended Arizona as we traveled. I just want to quickly mention that these students are leaders at TC. They are passionate about learning, growing, and also about giving back. This October, we traveled to Arizona for the student conference, where they focused on discovering their voice, and again, that was the theme, and also embracing their journey. We talked about a transformative journey. Who are you? Okay, and how do you find out who you are? So this evening, or actually during the conference, the students generated ideas that they're going to share with you this evening, and focusing on eliminating some of those gaps, but mostly maximizing student achievement. So we're going to start the video, and then the students are going to present. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Morgan Latayad. The goal of our group, the Minority Student Achievement Network, is to help close the achievement gap. There are disparities between achievement of minority students and white students, and we want all students to achieve at the same level. In the past, we've implemented courageous conversations, which are where we gather groups of students and we discuss just different racial issues between the students that they might have at school. But this year we're planning on implementing a mentoring program where we can start earlier so we can emphasize the importance of doing well in high school to younger students so it can be strengthened when they're in high school.
Hello, my name is Zoe Broussard. I'm new to MSAN. I'm going to explain our plan. Our plan is to meet with the principal of Hammond 2, Mr. Sutton, before Thanksgiving break with a proposal. Based on his response, we're going to move forward with a group of 15 students. Students will be in a mini MSAN group, and then they're going to join MSAN when they reach high school and continue the program.
Hi, my name's Paula de Dios, and this is my second year in MSAN, and I'm a senior this year. Part of our plan is also to continue something called a Week of Change. What we plan on doing is having guest speakers come in, some of which you saw within our video. We're really looking forward to hopefully having them come, and what one of them does, Calvin Terrell, who we mentioned, is they speak to both the staff, parents, and students. So it's like a big talk to everybody who they can reach out to. Something else that we're trying to implement is working with the students, like my friend just mentioned. And the last thing we're trying to do is have conversations after school with more students who are volunteered, like if they want to come. We're trying to break down the achievement gap by mixing with everybody, having certain students come and start talking and trying to break the ice between each other.
Hello, my name is Miranda Jones.
And I'm Daryl Cook.
And we are here to talk to you about another part of our plan, which is implementing a directory for teachers of students who achieve higher in certain courses so that teachers will be able to not only stay after school with their students, but to also recommend peers to their own peers. We feel like this would help students who are more scared to talk to their instructors one-on-one. They'll be able to talk to their peers or a closer friend, which could also help close the achievement gap.
TC also has a program is where you can go to the cafeteria and you get writing. You go to the writing center and the math center, and that's a great resource. But some students I know, majority of students I know, are too scared to go there because they don't want to feel like they're dumb or don't want to feel like they're slow or whatnot. So we want to take it to the next level where we can get MSAN kids and actually assign them to different people and be peer help for helping them with math in class. I mean, think about it. I mean, if it's a student in class and they're sitting next to you, then you can reach over and say, hey, I don't understand this. You can feel comfortable with them because you already went to those courageous conversations. You already broke the ice between each other. And then that also will help them with their grade. For example, I have a friend, and he needed help in school, and I was there for him. And within the next semester, his grades went up. So it does help in that result.
We also believe that every student is capable of achieving no matter what background they come from, so we're trying to make it as possible as ever for that, so that all students can achieve the same abilities. We don't want some kids to be shied from APs because of who they are or where they come from. So,
thank you.
My name is Terrence Curry, and I'm a new member of MSAN. What I'm going to be speaking about is one thing that stayed with us when we left Arizona, and that thing is conditioning, which we learned from the guest speaker, Calvin Terrell. The types of conditioning that we learned about are racial, stereotype, and prejudice conditioning. People are conditioned to think the way they do because they learn at a young age, and they feel the way they do about things, a certain race, ethnicities, because of the stereotypes that they are conditioned with. With conditioning, if we begin reconditioning kids while they're younger, which is why we wanted to do the middle school thing, as they continue into high school, we can grow away from stereotypes and racial slurs and the minority and majority. So one thing we wanted to share was one of the games that we learned from Calvin Terrell is from a sign, and it only works if everybody does it. So everybody begin to say stop, stop. Now faster. Faster. Louder. All right. At a green light, you. Hey, you're not listening to yourself. You go. So that's one way of saying, like, you're not really listening to you. You have to just step back and, like, think about it. And that's so. Thank you for listening to us.
We actually brought gifts back. Well, we actually didn't physically, but Mr. Chase brought them back from the conference to share with you, so we have some tokens of our love for you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
As you receive your shirts, I asked for certain sizes. They gave me what they had. So look at it, and then if you have an extra large, you don't wear extra large, you can exchange with someone. Exactly. See, I work out, so I wear extra large. Thank you. So, in closing, I just wanted you to see what I see every single day when I walk through the halls of T.C. Williams. The students have a voice. We just have to learn how to listen. So when I come and do my training, and I'm doing it with you and everyone else, I want you just to understand what we can lose if we don't learn how to listen. Thank you.
Thank you all. Don't go away. Don't go away. I'm guessing some of our board members have some questions to follow up. We need to hear more from you. Excellent. Ms. Maness, you want to start us off?
Well, first of all, I'm so proud of Danae Scott. And we didn't hear a lot about her, but she's the new sponsor. And I'm prejudiced. I'm going to use that word prejudiced to her, but it's good because I first recommended her for hire as a 5th grade teacher at Jefferson Houston when Jefferson Houston passed the SOLs in 1999. So I'm dating you a little bit. So, yeah, right. But you all are really special to have her, and I wanted to say that because you really do need a strong coach and leader. But I am just so proud of all of you because, I mean, you're saying that you're learning and you're reaching back for your classmates and young people you don't know. But you have already accomplished public speaking. Believe me, to come here and to speak from your heart and from what you have learned is fabulous. It really is. You're on your way. And thank you, Mr. Chase, and thank all of you. And Mr. Superintendent, will we be able to get more students in this program? That's my question.
One of the comments by our group was to have a week during the school year. Well, I've learned in the Board of Directors meeting that we had that some school districts, Farmington, Michigan, for example, actually replicate what you had as students in Arizona for the entire school. And so I'd like to sit down and talk with you about that to see how we can get more students involved and how we can more formally create that kind of excitement and commitment that you've brought back to us. So we'll meet and we'll talk, and we'll get back to you.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Folkerts, followed by Ms. Carter.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Nice job. So my question is, give me a sense for how serious you think some of these issues are at TC, because what we always hear is how great a diverse environment TC is, and it's great to see you guys there, and so I don't often hear that the issues you raise are problems. I don't doubt you, but I don't hear that. I hear how we're going to celebrate how diverse we are. So give me a sense of how serious you think the issues are at TC, maybe perhaps compared to some of the other schools at MSAN. Oh, okay. I was going to, all right. I can pick names of who goes first because I know all of your names.
I win. No, okay. I think that was one of the topics that we had a hard time sympathizing with the other schools, is that they had accounts where, you know, racial slurs and things like that had been said to them or their friends and things like that. And we were all kind of like, what? Like, that doesn't happen at TC because the diversity is just, you know, so apparent. And even with the start of the International Academy, I feel like that kind of opened up students' eyes. There's like one whole hallway in TC now with flags like hanging from the Yeah, from the ceiling. I was looking for the word with the R. Rafters. Ha! Found it. Okay. But yeah, I just think it was hard for us to kind of sympathize on that level, but I feel like even with the greater diversity, there are still some students who don't appreciate the diversity and don't realize that some students from multicultural backgrounds go through a hardship where they feel like they're not as great as other students who are in dual enrollment classes or AP or honors classes, and they want to take those classes. Everybody wants to step up and do the very best that they can, but because they're not supported, because they're at TC and they feel, oh, we're already, diverse, and they realize we're diverse, they're not going to help us out, anymore. So I feel like that's the one thing that we have to push, is that we realize that students come from such a diverse background, and we are willing to help them as much as they can so that they can do what they wish with their education without being scared.
Thank you, Miranda.
No problem.
Just to reiterate what Miranda said, we are very diverse at TC Williams, so a lot of the problems that a lot of the other districts in MSAN faced, we didn't really see as much, but there are still differences in the achievements between minorities and, I guess, white students. Because, for example, in AP classes, all of the MSAN students are high achievers, and we can kind of say this as from our own experience that we're kind of underrepresented in AP classes and honors classes, and we kind of want to help bring our friends and other minorities up with us to help them achieve just as we have, because we're proof that it's possible, so we want to help them see that as well.
Excellent. Thank you. Anyone else have anything to add? All right. Ms. Carter.
My question... Are you following up to what Miranda said, though? Okay. 'Cause I'll let you. My question's a little bit more difficult, perchance. About when I started on the school board in 2009, there was a sense, and the superintendent really identified this, that among some of our staff there was a culture of low expectations for minority students. And you all are nodding. Can you talk to that for me, and especially the senior, how that's changed, or how you've seen that? I'm hoping you've seen that changed over a period of years, and what we can do as leaders in the community, and what you encourage us to do as leaders in the community, but what you're also doing at the grassroots level.
We're all seniors, so go ahead. Okay, go ahead. I just have, sorry, I'm a mic hog. Okay, I just have one quick comment. It was funny that you brought that up, because I did once have a teacher say that the only time he saw the majority of the white students that were in TC is when he was teaching an AP class. And so I don't think he said it in, a serious way, but that is a serious problem, and it is a serious issue. Definitely not something to be joked about. I don't think, me personally, I've never had any teachers who expect less from us because we are from different backgrounds, or students in my class are from different backgrounds, and they don't expect more from, white students who are in, if I take a general class and there are white students in there, they don't expect more. If I take an AP class and there are white students, they don't expect more. But I feel like if students of culture were to do less, it wouldn't be frowned upon. It would just kind of be like, okay, that's.
Starting from 9th grade year, when I first entered Mini Howard, I was excited and everything. Being my size and being, you already expect that I do sports, and I do everything from crew, football, rugby. I love it all. But when I got into school, I had this science teacher, and the science teacher, I think she already developed a stereotype about me because I was in her higher class, and I was wondering why she was treating me that way, and I didn't fully understand why. But later I picked up on it because she expected less of me, and as of that was so disrespectful at all means levels. And I believe I talked to her about it, and she didn't want to hear it at all, but I did. And I think that's where it is. And in 10th grade year, moving up, I went to an honors class from one of my English class. I mean, this teacher's no longer here. And I remember it was, 2 black kids and two Hispanics in the class, and the rest were, white. And at that time, I remembered what happened ninth grade year, and I still felt the same way. And I'm like, what's going on? So I think in order to address those issues, we have to go to the staff first, because I should not be feeling that way my ninth and 10th grade year. Going down the hall, talking to students that are minorities, blacks, Hispanics, I'm asking them a question: why are you not in higher courses? And we're like, because I don't feel like I can take it based on some of the things my teachers say. These teachers at the end of the year, they go to the counselors or whatnot, and it started last year, I guess, or 10th grade year, and the teacher tell them what they can't do. And I do not like that at all. You're going to sit here and tell this student, I don't think you should go to honors class, I don't think you should go to an AP class. That is so disrespectful by all means. And that's what upsets me about, I'm sorry, I'm getting frustrated. So,
but Derek, have you seen that improve over a period of years? Or you're saying it's just
Yeah.
as bad 2 years ago as it is now, or have you seen the needle move a little bit here?
From 11th grade year,
Yeah.
I picked up, and I didn't fill up on that anymore. But I still had some friends that did, and they came to talk to me, because at that time I just joined MSAN my 11th grade year, and I was just like, well, just talk to them. So I still saw it, but it was decreasing. 12th grade year, I still see it a little bit, but not as much. So I think throughout these years it has decreased, or maybe I'm just getting lucky and getting better teachers. So
I'm hoping it's improved.
Yes, but that's all. I'm sorry.
No, that was excellent. I think that's exactly what the board members need to hear. Is very straight. We're straight talk. Terrence.
Oh, no, you're fine. Well, I just have two examples. I'm very intimidated easily when it comes to AP classes. Last year in English, the first thing I usually do when I go to AP class, I sit down and I just look around, and that's my first thing, and I'm just like, okay, is there anybody else like me? And obviously there's not, and I guess that's what they feel. They feel intimidated, either their friends are like, no, you shouldn't do this because, why are you doing this? It's not, yeah. But my teacher finally, saw that I was intimidated, and she finally pulled me aside, and she was like, why are you intimidated? You can do it just like everybody else can. So just keep pushing through the year, and if you need help, I'm here. Also, that's also, the way in my German class, I'm in German AP now, and it's the first thing he told me, the first day of school, he was like, you should be proud of yourself. You're the only black kid in my German class, and it's AP. So just keep moving forward, and that's basically all I have to say.
Any other comments? Yep. Ms. Tesfa?
First of all, I'd really like to congratulate you guys. You are doing the most amazing work, and I'm really proud of you. It's awesome to have you at TC. And your stories are really breaking my heart. I know exactly what you're going through. I face the same thing. And I'd like to know what your plans are for expanding MSAN and the work that you're doing into the greater Alexandria community. I've had racial slurs thrown at me. I've had backhanded compliments, You're so eloquent for a black person. What does that mean? It's wrong. We shouldn't have that. I shouldn't be afraid of walking down my neighborhood and being afraid of who's going to accuse me of stealing something. It's wrong, and I don't want to see students, young people in Alexandria facing the same challenges 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. And it shouldn't be happening. It's 2012. What are you planning to do in the greater Alexandria community? I want to know.
I'll answer the first part, and credit Dr. Sherman bringing me on board for the cultural competency piece. I've been in the system 22 years, so I know the community knows me, and as a teacher I have heard and I have seen, and I've seen both sides, where they encourage, where they discourage. So by bringing me on board as a whole different department and working with Dr. Henson, who's a heaven sent for me, we are going to make this citywide and address it. But again, like I said before, they have the voice, but we have to train people on how to listen and what to listen for, and not listen with stereotypical ears, but listen with genuine ears of what they have to say. Because they're going to tell you what they think. Don't take it as a negative. Take it as a positive. If they have a forceful voice, it's a reason for that. It's passion. It's not anger. Like I said, I've never seen a problem in 22 years. I just see potential. I don't see attitude. I see aptitude. So we have to teach people, and it's not easy. It's not going to be an easy road. It's going to be a tough road. People are going to push back. But that's okay, because I'm willing to do it because I see this. I see the future. And I'm not going to stop until there is a change. And they feel the same way. So after I'm gone, someone here is going to step up to my position and do the same thing. but the road will be set. There will be a path. And again, thanks to Dr. Sherman and Dr. Henson and Dr. Walsh and people like that who continue to push me to do more than what I'm doing, it's a heaven sent. So answer to your question is, it's going to be slow, but it's going to happen.
Any students want to just go ahead, please?
I'll answer since I haven't talked yet. Well, to answer your question about what we're planning on doing, it's pretty much why we're here. It's one of our main focuses is that reaching out to the community. We know situations like that occur. However, some of us haven't personally experienced that, me to be one, but we know what's been going on. We've asked people, we've talked to other students of color, minorities, as we say, and we've spoken to them. We know what's been going on, and that's why we have this plan that we hope is approved, and we want to spread to the community. We're hoping that week of change, as I mentioned, that we can get that imposed into the calendar, and so we are able to do that. One of our main things, which is what you mentioned, the whole thing where people are talking derogatory terms and such, that's why we want to have this. It's more of like a conversation. We're hoping it's going to be volunteer, and then we have a large number of students and staff and parents come. It's where you open up. It's rather than people just saying this behind your back and such, it's more of like an eye-opener. That's what we're hoping to have. And we're hoping to have these guest speakers as well, and mainly Calvin Terrell, because that's someone who really personally affected all of us and opened our eyes to what's been going on. And that's why we're so passionate about it. We hope he comes because we want him to come. And one of his main goals is, as I mentioned, he speaks to both to all three, students, staff, teachers, anybody who wants to go, and parents or anybody involved in the community, so that we're able to reach everybody out, which is one of our main goals. And that's what I just want to say, that's something that we're really hoping that we're able to do, and that's part of our plan. That's our main first step that we want to do.
Thank you. Ms. Campbell?
I have something a little different. I really appreciate what you're doing at TC, and I want you to build and grow and have more leaders like yourselves so you can go out in the community when you go on to college, so you can show that leadership there as well. Recently, I started doing college tours with my son, and one of the things that's very important to him is having a diverse college that he wants to go to. And it's been very interesting to find out that they call diverse when it's 20% or 25%. And when we're coming from a school which is completely, really diverse, it's very hard to find a college like that. And I'm hoping that when you guys go on to college, you will get involved in the tours, so there isn't just the one football player that's black as a tour guide, and everybody else is white, majority women, that are the students that are doing the tours. But I would really want you to think about that and get involved when you get to the college, whatever college you're going to, and make sure that you have a presence and that you are showing, because when kids come to see a school and that's what they see and they're looking for diversity, they're thinking, if this is who they think are the leaders and these are the only leaders in the school, maybe this isn't the right match for me. And I can see a very hard journey ahead of me looking for a college for my son, but I want to make sure that you guys think about that too, not just at TC, but when you go on to college, which I know you're all going to plan on going to college. Make sure you step up to those leadership roles as they're offered to you. And if they're not offered to you, go out and seek them so you can continue this and spread the word. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Wilson, followed by Mr. Williams.
Thank you. Since someone's already talked about their own kid, I need to also. But I'm not sure what kind of discrimination this is, but when my son was in 10th grade, I've been criticizing him, you need to do better on your writing. And he says, well, my teachers don't think I'm bad. And I went through a paper where he got an A on it. It was a terrible paper. So I went to the teacher and it says, this may sound strange to you, but I don't think my son deserved an A. This is a terrible paper. I would have given him an F. And she said, and this made me even more angry, but I know your boy. He's a quarterback, and he's been in honor society, and he's been in tags. I know him since he was at Jefferson Houston. And I said, well, that does not help him. That he had a big head as it was. And yeah, I hope he's watching. But is that discrimination or not? I don't know if it's racial discrimination. I think it is. But it also may be another sophisticated kind of discrimination. Well, if you already had a good record, then you get a pass. It might be that the white students who have records of achievement may be treated that way too. So it might be a double type of discrimination. And some parents might think, well, that's good, thank you. But no, it's not. It's soft. What is the... Yeah, unjustified pat on the head or unjustified higher grade is just as discriminatory, and it may be happening more than we think, and maybe not just with minority students. Bye.
Mr. Williams.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I too really appreciate having this presentation. My question relates to the fact that where does this start? In other words, you're talking about the students who they don't feel confident taking AP classes, the harder classes. You know, we've instituted open enrollment honors in the middle schools. You know, we as the board have tried to open challenge up to students. And so what can we do to really start earlier so that when the students get up, well, certainly to middle school and then to the high school, that this problem is ameliorated? I'm sorry, it's not a problem, Mr. Chase. Do you see what I'm asking?
Yeah, the first one where we start is first with our staff. I think that's very important. Bottom line, with our staff. But MSAN also has another idea where we start in middle school, and what we do is we develop a bond, a mentor, where we have a mentee. We develop a bond with them. We discuss the achievement gaps. We discuss other issues. We discuss, how to be successful, to how to take those rigor classes, how to step up to the next level. And we give them confidence to do better instead of somebody saying, you can't. And throughout my whole years in the ACPS, I heard I can't a lot from teachers. So I think that's very important to start with the staff first. So whatever it may be, from Mr. Cobbin talking to the staff, or I guess school board talking to the staff, or having courses with the staff, or whatever it may be, I think we have to address the staff, and that's where it has to start. But what MSAN can do is, as I said, start a mentoring group with middle schools, and that's where we can start as well, to add on.
Can I just speak really quick? I'm sorry, I'm not a student, but one of the students who is a member of MSAN that is not here at this time, he's in a play at TC. He was practicing, mentioned at one of our meetings that he wanted to be in the TAG program in elementary school. And his English wasn't really strong. He's from Panama, but he felt like he was a strong student just like everyone else. So he wasn't selected to be in the TAG program. From that point on, whether it was 4th or 5th grade, it went downhill. So he felt like he wasn't as good as the other students. He felt like he wasn't being challenged, but he knew that if he was put in that class, he could meet the expectation, but he wasn't. So he felt like all along he went up to middle school and he said, I know I could be in this program. I know I can do it if I just get a chance, and he never had that opportunity. So as he went into high school, he did take honors courses because it's open enrollment, and also I think in 7th or 8th grade he started the honors, and then he moved up into to AP classes, and he's one of our, juniors? No, not juniors, but he is one of our exceptional students. He's in a play. He went to Arizona with us. He contributes to our group greatly. And I just felt like if we even go younger,
than middle school, and we go to elementary school, and we look at potential a little differently. We look at it as saying, okay, they might not be as strong as a student to get into tag, but how can we push them a little more to decrease that gap, and we're able to put them there. And not even if they're in a tag program, but challenging them within the classroom so that they're getting that, their expectations are met, and they know, okay, I might not be in a specific classroom, but I am getting challenged. Wow, this is a little harder. And back to staff and teachers, just encouraging the students to continue. Well, you're not in that class, but okay, here, this is a little challenge question, or this is a question that they're doing over there. Let's try it. So that's just my opinion. Thank you.
Dr. Sherman? In the board's package, there's 2 position papers. One from the University of Michigan professor, and the other is a position paper written by the Farmington, Michigan superintendent and some colleagues. And it goes to this issue about student voice. And 2 thoughts. One, as we know, and as Mr. Chase and I have spent many hours talking, conversations about race are very difficult. And I want to thank this board for your years of service and allowing and encouraging these conversations. Many school districts haven't stepped up and been able, at a board level, at a staff level, and certainly not at a student level, have been candid enough to talk about the issues. The other, within those position papers, is when you look at the students represented here, there's a face missing, whites, and that the next step, we believe, at least I do as a superintendent, is that the next outreach must be to white students within MSAN. And have student voices one to another. So our Latino kids are talking to our black kids, are talking to our white kids, and collectively that voice is raised in unison rather than students of color just raising the issue. How much stronger it might be to have white students right next to you saying, we could address this issue together. And so these papers that I presented to you tonight propose that next step as a growth for us at MSAN.
Ms. Maness, what?
I want to address this to Dr. Sherman, the Student Achievement Committee, and all of the proposals that they presented to us in the spring. And I'm thinking that this could be a good segue for some of the very issues that they brought up, and they want to hear back from you or the board how we're going to try to meet the challenge of closing the gap, and what many of their proposals are related to much of what our students and staff have said tonight. So I'm wondering if, perchance, you might consider this group coming in and meeting with that committee and talking about some other possibilities and opportunities, because that parent piece is in there as well. And it's such a great committee, and I'm thinking that it would be nice for them to hear from the students so there can be some more collaboration and some more considerations of the very same things you just mentioned, so that we can really make this really stronger.
Thank you, Ms. Menace. It's actually to the heart of the connections we must make among our organizations and among our conversations, and we hope soon to restart the work of that Achievement Committee as we bring forward a recommendation to hire, I hope within the next couple of weeks, a Director of Equity, which is part of the outgrowth of that other committee, and I would hope that some of these students, when we restart that Adult Community Committee, would become members. They would certainly get an invitation from me to do so. Thank you.
Very quickly, Mr. Wilson.
One of the things I've noticed in a lot of schools is minority parents, particularly single parent mothers, do not encourage their kids because they're overprotective. They don't want their boy to struggle. And this I've seen a lot of times, even some who have withdrawn their kids from honors class because they were just overly protected. That doesn't happen when those parents are college educated, but it does happen in some communities because of their emotions. And I think we can address that by being a little bit more active to recruit those kids into honors if they show some kind of giftedness. And they're not prepared as well as the more affluential folks anyway, so we owe more effort to recruit them.
Well, I have a comment to that. I have two brothers, so it's three of us, and my mom is a single mother. She pushes all three of us to take honors classes and AP classes. I have an older brother who is now at Tennessee State University, and yeah, like I feel like in our area they push more because they know they see more in us, especially if we continue to progress. So I don't really see that.
To add on to that, my mom raised 4 kids all by herself, and with me, I've been maintaining a GPA of 3.9 for my entire year. I went for my start from 9th grade year. I've also went to Boys State of Virginia, and I've also done so many excellent things. And I think that the person I owe that to is my mother, for her being there. Although she couldn't go to many of my school activities based on, finances and stuff, but she pushed me. So that statement, that comment, I have to disagree. I'm sorry, sir, because my mom pushed me so hard, and I thank her.
Can I just a quick second? I'm sorry, and I think I'm trying to understand what you're saying, and as a counselor, I see it with some of our, let's say, Hispanic populations, African American as well, but parents who don't know, they're and when you mention educated, but just a fear of the unknown, So I've had parents who were afraid to come into school because they just did not know. So I don't know if it's as much as a protective thing. We're protecting because of what they don't know. So yes, educating, yes, pushing, but I think also as a counselor, we try to get our parents in. We have parent nights. We contact our parents in various languages to let them know what's going on, going out to homes. So I agree with what you're saying as far as reaching out to them. And I think it's a fear of the unknown. So if they weren't formally educated in their country, it's just not knowing. I'm going into the school. I don't know the language. I don't know what's going on. So I do kind of understand what you're saying as far as that's concerned.
Thank you, and thank you all. I think we'll wrap this. Dr. Henson.
Just very quickly, first of all, I just want to congratulate all of you. This area is under my department. I'm very proud of the work that Mr. Chase has done, but all of the students as well. I do want to also note that there are 3 components of our MSAN coalition. So we have the student component, we have the governing body that the superintendent sits on, and then there's also what's called the Research Practitioners Council. And on that council, I sit, Dr. Walsh, Clinton Page, as well as Francis Chase. So there's opportunity to really pull together, and looking at ways that we can start to implement. So we're excited about what is to come. I think the students, though, are the first drive of this, because listening to their voice should be the guide. The last thing I have to say, because we all need to congratulate her, for those of you who didn't have the opportunity to be with us at the game on Saturday, our homecoming queen for 2012 is no other than Morgan. Let's give her a congratulations.
You still have the aura in the wave? Fabulous. Wonderful. Congratulations. Thank you all for being here, for sharing your perspectives, for being great spokespeople for the work that you all are doing. I personally, I know we're all very proud of what you do, and we're thrilled that you come before us and tell us your stories and encourage us to continue to support you. So thank you. Ms. Scott, wonderful to have you here. When you schedule your week of change, please let us know. Please make sure so that we can come and join you. And Mr. Chase, I'm going to call on you for our board workshop. We still haven't done that yet. Thank you. And